Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm your host, Sam DeCoste, here to remind you that Kirk Cousins has made a near $250 million in his NFL career. It's true, we checked it out, and we're thrilled to be live on the air with you tonight. Brackets beware, because March is upon us. The March Madness men's college basketball tournament is finally here. Baylor, Gonzaga, Arizona, and Kansas hold the number one spots in each region. But as history tells us, we can expect plenty of surprises. There will be shocking upsets, there will be Cinderella stories, and there will be plenty of excitement and drama. With the first round set to tip off tomorrow night, it's time for the Box Score to preview March Madness. Let's welcome in Jeff Grundy, Danielle Dubois, and Faith Pinnow to preview March Madness. Faith, over to you first. Who will be the champions of March?
Okay, well, it wouldn't be a good Box Score episode without a hot take, and I'm here to tell you that Baylor is going to take the crown at March Madness this year. Ooh. And I'll tell you why. They've got a phenomenal defense. You've got Kendall Brown, who's a freshman, and he locks up the key like no other. You've also got a team who forces turnovers on a quarter of the opponents that they play, which is sensational. And even though they're dealing with some injuries, I have faith that they're going to beat North Carolina in the second round, and I think they're going to take UCLA in the Sweet 16. I just feel it. You've got LJ Cryer, who may or may not be coming back from an ankle injury. And listen, I'm predicting it's a Cinderella story. I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to pull the team together, and I think that they have what it takes.
Danielle?
While Baylor is a solid choice that I may or may not agree with, Faith, I chose the Gonzaga. So I believe this because Drew Timme is their lead point scorer with 17.5 points per game, and we cannot forget to talk about Chet Holmgren, who is a 7-foot freshman whose field goal percentage is 61%, which is absolutely insane. Gonzaga has had so many chances to win the championship, and I feel like it's going to be their year.
Jeff?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Arizona Wildcats, and I'll tell you why. Kerr Kriisa, sophomore point guard, averaged 10 points, 4.9 assists. And you're asking me, Jeff, he's hurt. I saw this picture on Twitter of his ankle. It was really gross. It was purple. He's going to be okay? Take a breath. In a quote from him, it's all mental. You've got to believe. I'm believing, and it's going in a good direction. He's going to play.
Okay. I'm sorry. I have to cut in there. Yes, he's going to be okay. He's going to play. But at the end of the day, when you've got a team who's operating on speed like Arizona, is Chris going to be able to keep up? And the thing is that I don't think he's going to. When you're coming that fresh off of an injury, you're not going to be able to move on the floor the same way, Jeff.
I want to take a timeout for a second as well and rewind and hit play again, because Faith, you said that you think Baylor was a Cinderella story. They won the tournament last year, and you think that's a Cinderella? I don't know. That Disney's not making much money off of that fairy tale.
Okay, Baylor's different. I want to correct something I said too. Chris is not going to come back as strong as he will, but LJ Cryer definitely will. Okay, thank you.
But for Arizona, we don't have to worry about Arizona because they also have sophomore guard Benedict Mathurin. He's been on fire. He's been averaging 17.4, and he leads a squad of 4 people who can easily get 20 points plus a night. That's a team that's going to go deep. It's going to make it to the Final Four. It's going to win.
Okay, I don't know though about experience. I mean, Danielle, back me up. We saw this in the Super Bowl. When you've got basically an entire team that has never played in a final March Madness round, you think you're going to come in and win? Not to mention, it's Tommy Lloyd's first year going potentially going to the championship if that were to happen. And I don't know, when you've only got Ballo, your big reserve, your center reserve, who's ever been to finals in March Madness, that makes me nervous.
Well, Faith, I'm really happy you bring this up because there's a freshman who now has championship pedigree after winning the Pac-12 championship. His name is Adama Ball, and he hit 2 of the clutchest threes I think I've ever seen, and they were just back-to-back. And this is after someone else on Arizona got taken out for foul trouble. This team can make it.
Okay, I respect that that's your belief. Now I'm going to go after Danielle for hers. Okay, Danielle, tell me this.
I love the transparency.
How is Drew Timme going to do on offense when, you mentioned him, he struggles with contact? How about defense? When you've got another great team, say Arizona, coming down the lane, how are you going to step in and stop that? What's he going to do, especially without getting into foul trouble?
I mean, we've seen it happen before. We saw them struggle a little bit against St. Mary before, which was a little bit concerning when I was choosing this, but I feel like they have the mentality to it. I mean, come on, they've been pushing for this for so many years. Everybody has been saying, oh my God, this is going to be their year. This is going to be their year. Okay, now it's going to be their year. But this, I think it's actually going to be it. I feel like Chet is really going to come in, bring some good energy to the team, and he's a freshman, mind you. This is his first March Madness tournament, and I think he wants to really come in and start his career off on a bang. I'm sorry, if you win the tournament your first year with the Zags, that is a big deal, and I think he is going to bring some phenomenal energy to this team, and I feel like they are really hyped up for this because everybody's been saying it's their year, and they're ready to see it.
Yeah, it's their year. Okay, maybe, but I'm not going to go with that reasoning.
But you really think it's going to be Baylor's year instead?
Yeah, I don't like
Baylor's.
your Cinderella pick, Faith.
I
like Houston more as a Cinderella pick.
I agree with that. I have Houston upsetting so many different people in my bracket.
But I do love Baylor. I'll give it up to them. They're too hurt.
Listen, Baylor's a solid team. My heart is with them. Maybe
That's nice.
maybe logically, I could take a few steps back, but I'm going to push Baylor. You know, it'll be fun. I think they are a great team. They can block up the lanes. They can do their thing outside of the arc when they're struggling on on offense. But ultimately, what's going to pull Baylor through, I think, is going to be their defense, and they're going to be able to stop up a lot of teams. They're going to be able to slow down the shot clock, and that's the kind of thing that wins games.
Another question for Faith, just about Baylor, because they've had to really re-identify themselves in the second half of the season. They've had a lot of injuries, including the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, Jonathan Tachawa, and LJ Cryer, their top scorer. He's probably not going to return. So you have a team that has to play a new style of basketball without their best players. How are they going to go on and win the whole thing after this?
Yeah, I mean, Tachawa being out is obviously a huge blow. He was a integral part of the entire team. However, you have Adam Flangegler, you have James Akinjo, he's a transfer. Both of them are averaging 13.4 points a game. They're both still doing great. They're picking up a lot of the slack of the team. And you also have six players who are frequently played who are averaging upwards of 8 points a game. And that is making a difference. They have a versatile team. There wasn't a strong leader. I think a lot of people are saying Tachawa was the leader. I think at the end of the day, they are a team who really shares the brunt of it.
I think one really fun storyline to look at are the transfers. For my sleeper, Houston, Texas Tech transfer Kyler Edwards. He now averages 13.6 on this Houston team that is 28-1 against quads 2, 3, and 4 opponents. Houston's going far.
And as far as March Madness goes, if Baylor won back-to-back, it would be the first time since 2007 that the champion would go back-to-back. So faith has faith. That's going to happen. Nice. I just realized what I just did. We're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, it's time to talk about the NFL. Russell Wilson is on the move. What does this trade mean for the scope of the AFC West? That and more on the other side. You're watching The Box Score live.
Life is unfair. Kill yourself or get over it. Life is unfair. Kill yourself or get over it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jared Tatro on the street for Common Sense, a game show for normal people to test their life skills and average knowledge. But today we're going to harass some Emerson College students to see if they have any knowledge of daily life skills. They probably don't, but who knows? Some of them might surprise me. Let's find out. Excuse me. How many inches are in a foot?
4, I don't know.
No, 12! Ma'am, excuse me. What colors are on the American flag?
Purple Emerson colors.
Oh my God! What is wrong with you? Excuse me, ma'am. Who is the most recent winner of Best Actress at the Academy Awards?
Genevieve Howling. That's me.
I don't have time for this. Goodbye. How much money is 1,000 euros in United States currency? What? Excuse me, sir. What is the capital of Virginia?
Richmond?
I think that's true. Yes, correct. Have a good day. Excuse me, sir. Who's the president of France? They don't know. All right, let's go. I think I scared them. I think they were younger than I thought. Excuse me. What is objectively the best planet?
Pluto.
No, wrong. No, it's the sun. The sun is like the king of planets. Goodbye.
Welcome back to the Box Score. I'm Sam DeCoste here with Jeff Grundy, Danielle Dubois, and Faith Pinnow. The NFL offseason is already off to a fast start, and we've seen some shocking developments in the quarterback market, and none bigger than Russell Wilson becoming a Denver Bronco. The Seattle Seahawks agreed to send their former Super Bowl winning quarterback to Denver in exchange for a king's ransom you can see right here. The trade package includes 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 5th-round pick. Also, quarterback Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, and defensive tackle Shelby Harris. Danielle, the price was steep, but Denver finally has their quarterback.
I'm really excited to see Wilson play in the Broncos, but to be honest, I honestly think he'll give them a little bit of playoff hope, but I don't think that they will be a real playoff contender with Wilson. I mean, look, Wilson got 25 touchdowns in this past season, but he only had 3,113 passing yards. Well, yes, he was coming off of a toe injury throughout the season and didn't get to play a full-on season unlike other quarterbacks. I still think he'll bring some hope to the Broncos, but let's be real. He's going against Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and Derek Carr just in his division, not even to talk about the rest of the AFC.
There's no way you're putting Russell Wilson with Derek Carr in the same breath. There's no way you just did that, Danielle.
Derek Carr had one of the best passing yards this entire season.
Don't.
I'm not saying that he's better than Russell Wilson, but I'm saying it will be a lot for him to compete, especially because the Broncos really don't have that much offensive talent, and I think it will be really interesting.
No.
Time out on the field.
Wrong.
Yeah, Faith, go ahead.
Wrong. Okay, Sam, you can back me up on this in a second. The Broncos have offensive talent. That is not their problem. Here is their problem. Their problem is that they cannot figure out how to get all of these talents to work together. They can't develop. You can't be a coach who's developing plays for the sake of plays. You have to play to how your players are going to play. And likewise, when you're a quarterback who's going to be calling plays, you need to know your teammates, and that I think has been the Broncos' biggest problem. I mean, they finished 24th in scoring last season, and for the offensive line that they have, I mean, they have Javonte Williams, they have Melvin Gordon, Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick. Like, Hackett needs to figure out how he can now get all of these guys to work with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure if Danielle has glasses, but if so, you should invest in them, because if you look at the roster, Faith has named off all of those players: Williams, Gordon, Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, Tim Patrick, KJ Hamler. They don't have Noah Fant anymore, but that's one of the best offenses in the NFL, and it's certainly the best offense that Russell Wilson will ever play with his entire career.
I also want to say quickly, everyone's saying Noah Fant is replaceable because they think they can get just tight ends out of nowhere. I want to say that was a little bit disappointing for Noah Fant to be traded to the Seahawks because he's a phenomenal tight end.
He's amazing. He was one of the best this past season.
Jeff, what are your thoughts on this trade?
Yeah, I think you have to look at the market, and you have to look at the quarterbacks that also moved with him. So if you're looking at TD to interception ratio, Wilson's sitting at 25-6. Locke is 2-2, but at his best season he was 16-15. Mitch is sitting at 16-8. And Wentz was at 27-7. So Russell Wilson is right there with Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
What?
That's a little troubling.
Wait.
11th
That's
in the
a little
league in
disappointing.
passing touchdowns. I mean, he got a
I
54.7
can't.
QBR for
I can't
2021.
tolerate the Russell Wilson slander that's occurring right now because Russell Wilson is one of the most transformative passers in the NFL. Nobody has a better deep ball than Russell Wilson in the NFL. Danielle loves stats. I'll give you a stat. Over the last 5 years, Russell Wilson averages 33 touchdown passes per season. That's his average. He's one of the best passers in the NFL.
Ding,
you
ding,
can't
ding.
get much better than that.
No, ding, 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 though. He's, okay, I had to say it, 33. He's now embarking on the second half of his career. And now with Khalil Mack going to the Chargers, he's going to be in the same league as Mack, whose speed, whose aggression, he's going to end up throwing him 3 yards over when he sacks him.
Sam, I'm going to give you another stat. Drew Lock, 57.3% in completion. Russell Wilson, 64.8. I'm comparing these guys because the teams compared these guys. And if the Seahawks were okay with taking Drew Lock, how valuable is Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. I'm not
sorry,
saying Wilson's not valuable. I really do think he is a good quarterback, but I'm just saying I still don't think he's going to get another ring with the Broncos or they're going to have any actual playoff contention because of their league that they're in and their division is so competitive. I just think it's going to be the same story for Wilson. It's going to be very disappointing for him to see, which he deserves better.
Well, I'm very shocked that you guys are snoring on Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos like you are, but I guess it's a lost cause changing your minds. But Wilson isn't the only signal caller to switch teams this offseason. Carson Wentz has been sent from Indianapolis to Washington. After just one season with the Colts, Wentz has been traded from to the Commanders from the Colts for a second rounder and 2 thirds. And one of those thirds can become a second if Wentz plays 70% of the snaps or more this season. Jeff, the Carson Wentz era in Indy was short-lived, and this is the second consecutive offseason he's off to a new city.
God, I hate the Indianapolis Colts. I wish they had him. I wish they still held on to him. Carson Wentz had a really good season once. And when he had that really good season, his QBR was really great. It was at a 78.5. Now we like that. But seeing where he is now at a 54.7, I don't know if we want to see him in a new team that has Chase Young, that we want to go a little bit further than where they went last year. I don't know.
Okay, I get to jump in on this. I have one question for the Washington Commanders. Is it worth it? Is it worth it that you just brought on Carson Wentz? You traded Taylor Heineke for Carson Wentz, which, like, you might say, well, Carson Wentz is a big franchise quarterback. He's going to do good things for the Commanders.
Nope.
I have this to say to you. Really, the stats are not that different. Jeff, if you have the stats, I don't. But, like, I can tell you that Washington ranks last for combined quarterback rushing or combined touchdown passes. Last season, they had 71. The NFL average was 104. Like, your problem is not your quarterback at that point. Your problem was not Taylor Heineke. So.
No, I agree. I honestly think Carson Wentz coming in for Heineke is not going to be a huge difference for the Commanders because, let's be real, they only have one wide receiver, and that's McLaurin.
Scary Terry.
And he's amazing. He's amazing. But he needs a better quarterback, and we need more talent on that team to do anything competitive offensively. I mean, come on. You're competing with the Eagles and the Cowboys, which are beatable, but I mean, come on, guys. If you even want to be contenders with them, you're going to need a better quarterback than Carson Wentz.
In terms of the Commanders' moves this offseason, we saw in the last segment with the Broncos, they made a splash, and the Commanders wanted to make a splash in the quarterback market, but they really stepped into a puddle is what they did. That's all they got with Carson Wentz. They wanted bigger, they wanted Wilson, they wanted Rodgers, even Derek Carr, but they couldn't even get that to work.
They've been looking for basically a quarterback for what feels like 3 decades. So the question is, like, did this solve their problem? Is their search over, or did they just put it on pause for a season? Because he's not guaranteed any money past this year, and
is he guaranteed a starting job in Washington either over Taylor Heineke?
$28 million and gave up 2 draft picks.
No one wants to play for Washington. Get rid of the owner, fix the stadium. They have so many issues on their hands right now. They do not need a bad quarterback.
As far as the Colts, this will be their 5th starting quarterback in 5 seasons. The next man up, Sam Ellinger. Who's to say if he's going to keep that spot? In non-quarterback news, Khalil Mack has also been dealt. The Chicago Bears agreed to send the former All-Pro defensive end to the Los Angeles Chargers. And all it took, the Chargers' 2nd-round pick this year and a 6th next year. That's it. Faith, were you surprised to see that this was all it took?
To be honest, I'm a little surprised. I mean, Khalil Mack, I was like, are you sleeping on Khalil Mack? That's all you gave up? He is a 3-time first-team All-Pro edge rusher. He's been to 6 Pro Bowls. He's been Defensive Player of the Year back in 2016. I mean, listen, this is a dream in terms of the Chargers. They are now packing what is one of the best, most accomplished set of pass rushers in the entire league, not to mention the AFC West. It's going to be incredible. Matt gets to reunite with Brandon Staley, who was his linebacker coach when he was with the Raiders. I think that he's going to be able to put on a great show. People are, don't come at me and say that he's too old. Look at the highlights. Look at the power he has. He keeps killing it. He slays.
All the Chargers have to do is put him on one side of the field and Joey Bosa on the other.
Yep.
And just scare the life out of any team that faces them. Offensive lines are getting turned to Swiss cheese with that duo. I'm telling you.
I am so excited to see this Chargers defense in action this upcoming season because like you said, we got Bosa, we got Mack now, and J.C. Jackson, who I am a Patriots fan, and I love that man to death. He had 19 interceptions this year. He led the league in interceptions. He is an amazing player, and I am really sad to lose him, but oh my God, he is going to do so well in the Chargers on that defensive line. Their offense was already great. To add in a good defense, I think they're going to be a complete well-rounded team. The only thing that worries me for their playoff contention is their coaching.
Yeah.
Okay, Homer, thanks for that. I appreciate the transparency with that. But with the Chargers, it's interesting because they just saw their neighbors, the Rams, win the Super Bowl with a pair of outstanding pass rushers with Aaron Donald and Von Miller. So if you're the Chargers, imitation is the best form of flattery, right?
Yeah, but I mean, absolutely. And that bodes really well because I'm excited to see what Khalil Mack is going to do when he's up against Mahomes, when he's up against Derek Carr, when he's up against Russell Wilson. I mean,
that's bad news for the AFC West. It's bad news.
I'd be freaking out. This shakes the whole thing up, and that's why I think that this trade was like absolutely astronomical.
And in terms of the Bears, it doesn't seem like a heavy price to give up for a former Defensive Player of the Year, but it seems that the Bears are taking up new people at the top, new general manager, new coach, and Khalil Mack, wrong side of 30, getting paid a lot of money, doesn't quite fit with the rebuild. They're not ready to win now. So does it make sense for the Bears? Does this trade make sense?
I don't think the Bears are in a good spot. I think Justin Fields is the lone bright star in that very dark, cloudy sky. And I'm sending all my love to the Bears fans that are in my friend circle. You're not going anywhere anytime soon.
No,
Nope.
not at all.
I don't know, guys. I'm not ready to give up on the Bears that fast. When you start a rebuild, it's never pretty. Listen, it's got to get ugly before it gets pretty. It's got to get messy before it gets clean. They're like tearing their clothes out of the closet and seeing what fits. And at the end of the day, like whether you have good players or not, I think they could have gotten more for Khalil Mack. I think that would have been smart of them. But I think we have to understand, like, they are really starting a top-down rebuild, and it had to start with some of the top guys leaving so that they could figure out what they want to do next.
Good luck to him.
And Khalil Mack actually reunites with Brandon Staley, who was a defensive assistant with Chicago in 2018, the year that Khalil Mack was outstanding in his first season with the Bears. But that's it in terms of the NFL offseason, in terms of the trades. It's been a wild offseason so far. It just got started. Now we're heading to commercial once again. But when we come back, it's time to skate over to the NHL and preview next week's trade deadline with another game of deal breakers. That after the break.
Kevin is a terrible president.
Can someone please raise their hand and tell me what Trinity did wrong?
She didn't call you Mr. President. Mr. President.
I like to think I was elected because I wear this suit every day.
My suit is at the dry cleaner, so I had to borrow something from my sister's closet.
I have a good work ethic. I'm approachable, handsome, and most importantly,
It's a good thing I'm the second closest thing to God, because these people, they're a hot mess.
Welcome back to the Box Score. I'm Sam DeCoste here with Danielle Dubois and Cam Manning. And if Cam's on the show, that can only mean one thing: the Box Score on ice. We're talking about hockey. The NHL trade deadline is on Monday, and trade negotiations are heating up. Now our correspondents are going to put on their GM caps in a game I like to call deal breakers. Cam and Danielle will each take turns pretending to be NHL general managers, offering trades to their fellow GMs across the league. The game tests how likely Cam and Danielle's trade proposals are to happen in real life. Not to mention, it puts their negotiating skills to the test as well. And with that, let the deal breaking begin. Up first, we have Danielle negotiating on behalf of the Boston Bruins and Cam negotiating for the Anaheim Ducks.
Ooh, phone
Hey,
call.
Cam.
Oh, hello, who is this?
This is Danielle. I'm calling on behalf of the Boston Bruins.
Oh, hi Danielle, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. You know, crazy busy with the kids, you know, everything's just going crazy. Trade deadline season, as you know.
Oh, I know. It's a crazy season, but look, I have some serious business I'd like to talk with you about.
Oh, please do continue. Yes, of course.
So, you know our little fellow Jake DeBrusk over here?
Oh, yes, little speedster Jake DeBrusk. First line Jake DeBrusk.
Yes. We love him over here, but he did request a trade earlier on in the Bruins, and we just really want to make him happy, and we think he has a good fit on the Ducks.
Interesting proposal. I like his speed, straightaway, north-south game. I like his ability to finish. You know, a lot of untapped potential there. Who do you want in? Who are you having in mind in the other side of the deal? What do I have to give up?
I propose, hear me out, okay?
I'm hearing you out, I'm listening.
Richard Raquel and a second-round pick.
Very interesting. You know, we are kind of in a weird spot in the West, you know, 500 team, you know, we're trying to get younger with Zegras and Milano, very up-and-coming young players, very exciting transformation here in Anaheim. But we love Ricard. He's given us all of his time in his career. Great family, you know, their kids are still going to school here. You know, it might be not a good decision to kind of send him off, you know.
You see, but DeBrusk has done absolutely incredible on the Bruins since he's requested the trade. He's had 15 goals this season, 10 assists. He even had his first ever NHL hat trick against the Kings this February, and we won that game 7-0.
Oh, yeah, we thank you for that. We thank you for that. As we are division rivals with the Kings, we thank you for that.
We're helping you out, so what do you say?
We appreciate that. You know, I like it. And you know what? I'll take it only because, you know, Raquel is on an expiring contract. You know, I mean, it's hard. I just want you to know that he may not end up re-signing with you guys. So I'm just wondering, like, why the risk? Why take him on?
We're really trying to make a really long, deep playoff run this season, and we think he's that missing piece. I mean, we lost Krejci earlier this season. We've been trying to replace him. And look, DeBrusk has been working out, but he's not happy here. He requested a trade. He really wants to get out, and we just need someone who's going to be happy on the team, be a team player, and do us well, and take us deep into that playoff run.
All right, fantastic. I'll tell Diane to lay up the paperwork.
Perfect. I look forward to speaking with her.
Awesome, fantastic.
Well, that could not have gone better. So amicable. What a negotiation. Now, Danielle, Jake DeBrusk, obviously, it's the worst kept secret in hockey. He wants out of Boston. Do you think this trade would make sense for him?
I honestly do. And look, like I said when I was talking to Cam, we have been looking as the Bruins to replace David Krejci's hold. I mean, come on, he would be playing next to Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand in the first line. I think Raquel would be a perfect fit into us, and we are just one piece away from making a deep Stanley Cup shot. And
there's
I really
the homerism again.
I really think that he can help
it. As a Bruins fan myself, Danielle, I don't know if we're one piece away, you know. I mean, if I'm calling Anaheim, right, I'm calling about Ricard Raquel and Hampus Lindholm. I think he's a great defenseman, offensive defenseman. I think the Bruins need to add both. I think this is Sweeney's year. I mean, I've been saying it for like 2 or 3 years now, but Don Sweeney really needs to go all in with this team. And I'm with Danielle. I like Raquel's game. I like Hampus Lindholm's skating ability, his ability to create offense. Another big, bulky defenseman to add to the back end. Count me in all day, 7 days a week.
I agree.
And Raquel can slot right into where DeBrusk has been thriving in Boston this season. Now, Cam, you're the Ducks, not necessarily a contending team. How do you feel about the trade? You felt pretty enthusiastic about accepting it.
Yeah, Jake DeBrusk has been the 2015 draft pick for the Boston Bruins. He's had up and downs throughout his career, very inconsistent play, but man, the guy can turn it on like that. Like, sorry, I can't snap that well, but like that, you know. I tried to snap, but not too good. But Jake DeBrusk can turn it on like any of them. You know, he can go from 0 to 100 real quick. He's got great skating game, great north to south speed, and he can pot goals. He can be a consistent 20 to 30 goal scorer each year.
Agree.
It's funny because both players could end up walking after this trade actually happens, if it actually happened. But great job. Let's move on to round 2. Cam will be negotiating for the Minnesota Wild and Danielle for the Vancouver Canucks.
Boop, 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 boop.
What does the Wild want? Hello?
Hi, is this Danielle?
It is.
I'm calling about your man, Mr. JT Miller.
And why would you be calling to me about him?
Because the Wild are back, baby. The Minnesota Wild are back, and we're looking to make an impact move at this year's deadline, and we think JT Miller is the guy to get.
You think he's the guy to get?
Absolutely.
Really?
100%.
He
100%.
is our leader on our team. He has 24 goals this season. He has led our team in points, goals, and assists. He has 49 assists. You want me to give up that? What are you proposing I get?
Well, as you know, Minnesota has a very deep prospect pool, and we're willing to deep dive into that to make sure this trade happens. Maybe you give him like a Marco Rossi, a little Kalen Addison, a little like young youth movement down in Vancouver. I mean, you already got Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser, Puzelin. I mean, you got all these great guys. Why not add more to the young talent, young core? JT Miller, 28 years old. He's looking to win now, and I think we can make it happen.
Look, I feel like as the Canucks, I mean, I don't really know about this. I mean, JT Miller is our guy, like you said. I mean, I know you want him, but man, we're really relying off of him at this point.
Yeah, I know. You know, you've been really surging under Bruce Boudreau, which credit to you, by the way. Great job by Canucks management on hiring Bruce Boudreau. Great hire. But are you really thinking about winning a cup this year? Because, you know, JT Miller, he's got 2 years left, 28. You know, you may not have a better season than this right now.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's going to win that cup with the Wild.
I mean, you have Kirill Kaprizov over here. You have Matt Zuccarello, Matt Boldy, Kevin Fiala. Can I go on? Should I go on? Should I keep going? Or I mean, there's so much depth on this team. We're ready to make the push, and the push is now for the Minnesota Wild. That's why we're willing to offer you such deep prospects. And even if you want some draft compensation, we really want JT Miller in the Minnesota Wild uniform.
I'm considering. So what's your final offer? My
final offer would be Marco Rossi, Kalen Addison, and I'll throw in a first-round pick and a second.
I'm sorry.
JT Miller.
I really don't think we have a deal on this
one.
Oh
my God, I just gave you the farm.
Think so.
I just gave you the farm. Oh my God, you're not going to give me my prize, but I gave you the farm.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, as Cam once infamously said, he gave her the farm. Danielle, you didn't accept the farm. Why didn't you take the farm? He gave it to you.
I'm sorry. I mean, if I'm the Canucks, I'm really not looking to give up Miller. I know we do have a young team, and some more prospects would bring in a lot more young talent on that team, but you got to be real. You got to have some veteran on the team to lead them, and JT Miller is the leader of the Canucks right now. He's what has been keeping them alive so far. I mean, he had 6 assists, and a 6-3 win.
Oh my God.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, no. We can't get rid of our one piece of talent, our main piece of talent on the Canucks.
Yeah, he's been sensational this year. He's been up in the Hart Trophy conversation for me this year, especially if Vancouver sneaks into the playoffs with JT Miller under their belt. Serious Hart consideration. I know, everyone's saying, McDavid, Draisaitl, all these guys who have like over 90-plus points already. It's most valuable to their respective team. And JT Miller, like Danielle said, is the heart and soul of the Vancouver Canucks. Without him, they are not in the position they're at. They're probably a lottery team at this point again this season. But, you know, I thought I offered a lot. Like Cam Manning says, I gave you the farm.
It was a good offer. I must say, it was hard for me to turn down, but I mean, JT Miller. Miller.
I know it's JT Miller, but, you know, a lot of young promising prospects in the Wild system, plus the draft compensation. I felt like we could have gotten a deal done, but, you know, that's why I'm not a GM. That's why I'm on the box score. That's why I'm talent in the box score. That's why I'm not a GM.
We'll see.
He was the 11th highest scorer in the NHL, and he could
11th
be
highest scorer. Absolutely.
He could be one to watch as the trade deadline approaches. That's that on Deal Breakers. Fantastic segment. Well, at least 1 for 2, 50% hit rate. Not bad. But on a more serious note, the Russian invasion of Ukraine has put Eastern Europe in a state of devastating war. And Faith, the eyes of the international sports world are now firmly locked on Russia.
That's right, Sam. The global impact of the war has reached as far as world football. I took a closer look into some of the actions that the sports world has taken in Russian sports in the response to the crisis in Ukraine. The
The war in Ukraine has shattered peace in Europe. Thousands of lives have been lost. Millions in Eastern Europe are seeking refuge. While the war is contained to Ukraine, its effects have been felt far and wide across Europe, including world football. And as a result of the crisis, Russia will not be playing in this year's FIFA World Cup. FIFA announced Russia's ban after facing pressure from fans and football stakeholders. Both the men's and women's teams are suspended from international football indefinitely. FIFA normally does not act on enforcing standards of moral integrity, but rather on financial security. International finance expert and former CFO Stanley Miller says the sporting sanctions against Russia will continue to have a global impact and financial ramifications for FIFA.
So I think that in the sports and athletic arena, the only thing that they can do is literally bar any Russian participation. Any Russian professional teams, Olympic teams, national teams, from any and all competitions.
And as the war in Ukraine continues, Russian football will remain suspended from competing on the world stage.
In so doing, they hopefully will improve their image. They've been known for corruption. They've been known for looking the other way, so to speak, when things are not necessarily 100% on the up and up. So I think it's long overdue that they take these actions.
From Moscow to London, the war has thrown the future of Chelsea Football Club in jeopardy. The UK government has sanctioned Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich for his ties to Vladimir Putin. The sanction comes with insurmountable restrictions for Chelsea. The club's bank accounts and credit cards have been frozen. They're not allowed to buy new players, agree to new contracts, sell tickets, matches, or sell club merchandise. Abramovich himself is prohibited from selling the club unless the UK government were to take complete control of the sale. The UK hoping the sanction on Abramovich will fast-track the club's sale and that Chelsea can sever their Russian ties as soon as possible.
To sanction the club in terms of the list of items you just explained really does hamstring and cripple the club. I think it's unfair of the government to not allow the football club to function as normal. I think they need to put some kind of a receiver or receivership on it so that somebody can manage it.
The war in Ukraine continues, but world football's days of turning a blind eye to Russia has finally run its course. However, it will take more than isolating Russian influence from sports to restore peace in Ukraine. For the Box Score, I'm Faith Pinnow.
Thank you, Faith, for taking a closer look into the fallout of the Russian invasion. Here's to hoping that peace will be restored in Eastern Europe very soon. In other news, the college softball season is in full swing, and the Clemson Tigers are making some noise. Yes, you heard me, Clemson Softball. Their program has played just one full season in its history, yet they are nationally ranked. Cam Manning is here to tell us more about the Tigers.
That's right, Sam. This season, Clemson earned its first ever preseason ranking, coming in top 15 for the first time in program history. Clemson didn't have a softball team before 2017, and they're already one of the most impressive softball teams in the country. This team went on to upset number 6 ranked Washington down at the Clearwater Elite Invitational, marking their first ever win against a top 10 opponent. And after a stellar showcase at the Elite Invitational, the Tigers earned themselves their first ever single-digit ranking, clocking in at number 9 on ESPN/US Today's softball poll. The driving force behind this amazing Clemson team has to be sophomore Valerie Cagle. Cagle's 2021 season was nothing short of sensational, as a freshman, mind you. Not only did she hit .404 at the plate, but she posted a 1.16 ERA while striking out 267 batters. She was also named ACC Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year. And I'm here to tell you, don't sleep on the Clemson Tigers this season, and don't sleep on the true Shohei Ohtani of softball, Valerie Cagle.
That's incredible to hear, Cam, that there's a Shohei Ohtani equivalent in college softball. That has to be astronomical for the growth of the game.
Absolutely, Sam. She is incredible. Stats up the wazoo, my friend. Absolutely pages of accolades already as a sophomore.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for that special highlight on Clemson Softball. That's all we have for you tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight live on The Box Score. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at EIV Box Score. You can also follow me at the Sam DeCoste, and keep your eyes peeled for our next episode for some more red hot analysis like this. Russell Wilson will win MVP next year. He's never played in a better offense than the one he has in Denver right now, and he's going to tear the league to shreds in his first season. You just wait. For Jeff Grundy, Faith Pinnow, Danielle Dubois, and Cam Manning, I'm Sam DeCoste, and we'll see you next time. We're out.